Hi everyone, James here. Thanks for joining me for this video. We're going to talk about something that not many people know about in Mac OS, but which is very important for the way your Mac runs, and how fast it runs. It's called Windows Server, and it controls the windows you see on screen. Windows Server is a background process that manages how windows are drawn and redrawn on screen. To get an idea of how important it is, think about how you use your Mac. Almost everything you do involves opening a window, closing a window, moving or resizing a window, right? Windows Server controls all of that. Every time you move a window, it has to be redrawn. Whenever you make a change to a window by, say, editing an image in Photoshop or switching to a different tab in Safari, Windows Server has to redraw that window. And that's a lot of redrawing. And when you consider that windows have transparency effects, shadows, and animation, you can see why Windows Server uses lots of CPU cycles. Now, most of the time, your Mac can handle that easily. Even though Windows Server uses lots of resources, it's usually a small fraction of the total resources your Mac has available, and so most of the time, you don't notice it. Why does Windows Server use so many resources? As well as having to draw and redraw windows, there are a few other reasons that Windows Server uses lots of resources. Sometimes apps hang or misbehave, and when they do that, they sometimes grab more than their fair share of resources, like RAM and CPU cycles. When that happens, there's less for other processes like Windows Server. If you use more than one display with your Mac, either to mirror or extend the desktop, it uses more CPU cycles to draw windows on the screen. If you have lots of icons on your desktop, that can cause Windows Server to use lots of resources. Why? Because each icon is a window with a preview of the file displayed on it. And every time your desktop changes, those icons have to be redrawn. Visual effects like transparency, animation, and shadows are tough on older GPUs, and some of them struggle to draw them quickly. You can check whether Windows Server is using too many resources by going to your Utilities folder in the Applications folder and launching Activity Monitor. If you click the CPU column, you'll see the processes that are using the most resources at the moment. How to speed your Mac up quickly. If your Mac is going slowly, one easy and quick way to speed it up is to get rid of junk files. These are files like temporary files that haven't been deleted when they should have been, or language files for languages you don't need, or old preferences files for apps you've gotten rid of. These files can take up RAM and conflict with other files on your Mac, and if that happens, your Mac will slow down, so getting rid of them will speed it up. Makes sense, right? The easiest way to get rid of junk files is to use Clean My Mac's X System Junk module. It scans your Mac for junk files and usually finds several gigabytes of them. You can then remove them by clicking the Clean button. That's all you need to do. Not only will you speed up your Mac, you'll free up lots of space too. You can download Clean My Mac X for free. The link is in the video description. How to reduce the resources Windows Server uses. We've already talked about why Windows Server uses so many resources on your Mac. Now let's look at how to reduce that. The first thing you can do is close any windows you don't need. Seems obvious, right? The fewer windows you have open, the less work Windows Server has to do, and the fewer resources it'll use. The next thing you can do is turn off some of those visual effects we talked about. Here's how to do that. Click on the Apple menu and choose Settings. Select Accessibility, then click Display. Toggle Reduce Transparency to On. You could also turn on Reduce Motion, which will cut some of the animation effects in Mac OS. Do you use Mission Control? It's a great way to keep track of desktops and full-screen apps, but sometimes you end up with lots of desktops you don't need. Getting rid of them can help Windows Server use fewer resources. Swipe up over the trackpad with 3 fingers, or click the Mission Control button, labeled F3 on the keyboard. Hover the mouse pointer over an empty desktop. Click on the X in the top left corner. One more thing you can do is update Mac OS in your apps. To update Mac OS, click on the Apple menu and choose System Settings. Then click General and Software Update. If there's an update available, follow the instructions to install it. To update apps downloaded from the App Store, launch the App Store app. Click on Updates, then click Update All. To update apps downloaded from their developer's website, launch the app, click on the app name in the menu bar, and choose Check for Updates. By the way, did you know that Clean My Mac X can update all your apps for you with just a couple of clicks? Cool, huh? The last thing to do to speed up your Mac is to restart it. Restarting your Mac clears out cache files and performs checks on the disk. It's a good way to fix any lingering problems. And that's your complete guide to Windows Server. You now know what that mysterious process is and what it does. And you know why it sometimes uses lots of system resources, like CPU cycles. And more importantly, you know a few tricks to speed up your Mac if Windows Server is slowing it down.